On today's video, we will talk about pattern alterations, specifically how to add some coverage to your bikini bottom. We will start with the bikini bottom pattern Verónica, the cheeky option, and we will then transform it into a full coverage. So grab your drawing tools and let's get started. To start, I'm going to remove the seam allowances from my front and back pattern pieces, and then I'm going to copy this pattern to a piece of paper, the front and also the back. Don't forget that you need to copy all the informations mentioned on each paper pattern piece to your now copied paper. On the Verónica bottoms, we have a curved center back seam, so if you want to know more about why we use center back seams on our patterns, just check the video that I'm gonna pop on the card up here on the right. When you place the front and the back side by side without the seam allowances, you will see a smooth line on the waist and also on your leg, on your hip. So this means that we will have to have this into consideration when we change the pattern. And also down here you must make sure that it is also a smooth transition from the front to the back. So the first alterations I'm going to do is on my front. And I'm going to start with altering the gusset area, where I'm going to add 1 centimeter to the sides, so make it a little bit wider. Once I draw this first line, I will then make a curve, a smooth curve, going into the upper part of my front, so I will have a curved gusset. And then we can move to the back part, where we will do exactly the same. We will extend to the side of the butt cheek 1 centimeter out of the original pattern, and then I will just draw a straight line from my hip area to that new point. This is just the start, because then we will need to smooth the lines on our back bottom. All the pattern pieces that you are going to sew must match the exact same length. So you will see me a lot of times measuring the front and the back to make sure that my length is exactly the same. When we align the side seams, we can now see that we have a sharp point on the lower parts, so on our leg, and this is no longer a smooth line like we had before. So this is something we will change on our design. I will make the side a little bit wider than it is, just a centimeter. So we will extend the line on the leg a little bit lower, so 1 centimeter is fine. Do that on your back, but don't forget that we will need to do exactly the same on our front. With matching length on the side seam, we can now redraw the curve on the back and also redo the curve on the front, and that's what I'm gonna do now. So I use my paper, which as you can see, we can see through from one paper to the other, and I will trace from the straight line that we had before into this new point that is lower here on my sides, and I will do the same for the front. Of course, we want to keep the smooth line like I've told you before, so take your time and do this until you feel comfortable with the smoothness of the new line on the front paper pattern piece and also going to the back. At this point, we had already achieved a little bit more coverage, like 1.5 centimeters more coverage, but I will end up, if you see the video till the end, adding a little bit more coverage on the back further on this video. But at this point, I decided that it was okay, and I decided to copy all the information from my original pattern to my new pattern, and also I decided to add the seam allowances. Seam allowances in my case are 0.8 centimeters, and I am now going to add all around, except of course the front where we have the fold line. If you have a hard time doing your curves for the seam allowance, Well, I use a dot method where with my ruler I go and I do small dots 1 centimeter bit by bit on all my curves, and then I just draw a line uniting all the dots, and you have the new curve. Don't forget to add your grain line on your new pattern. At this point and going to the back piece, I decided to change a little bit more, adding a little bit more coverage, so I did a curve going outwards on the butt cheek. This is not a design that I usually do. I usually go straight or on the opposite direction of the curve, but it actually is going to work as we want, adding more coverage. Don't forget that on the top hip and on the lower part, I kept the original curves because they are already smooth going to the front piece, so the connection between the front and the back on the gusset and also on the side will keep the smoothness that we have designed before. Add seam allowances all around, cut your new paper pattern pieces, and you are ready to sew. If you have any suggestions on new videos that you want us to do, don't forget to leave your comment down below. And don't forget also to subscribe our YouTube channel and activate your bell so you get notifications every time we have a new tutorial. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching.